Hello and welcome to today's webinar. I want to welcome you and thank you for joining today's session. Today we're going to be looking at a clean project time data approach that we achieve with advanced confirmation, and some housekeeping topics for you at first. So as you can see, you are muted. That means we cannot see or hear you. However, there will be time later in this session to ask your questions. And if you want to put your questions in the question and answer tab in this session, you're more than welcome to. You can also speak to us directly if you're interested in a direct conversation. That means when our question and answer time is, you will be able to raise your hand and I will be unmuting you and enable you to speak to us. And yeah, for now, this session will be recorded, just so you know. You will receive the recording of the session afterwards, once I've had time to cut it, so it'll probably be tomorrow. And you will also receive all of the presentation file that you see on screen. So you don't have to do anything else, just enjoy the presentation and yeah, be active. So let's do introductions. My name is Lena. I've been with the ORISE team for 7.5 years, and my role here is marketing. So I will be guiding you through today's session. And but the main point of attraction for us today is my colleague, Lena Marie.
Yeah, hello together. Yeah, thank you for joining our webinar today for the project time booking in SAP with our advanced confirmation. My name is Lena Marie Meyer. I'm sub-senior consultant at ORISE with focus on project systems modules. So I'm helping you with all the topics regarding project structures and project production processes, for example. Also, I'm responsible for our product project manager that's looking over the complete project process, starting from calculation of sales prices, so one step before we start with the real project. Then also concluding capacity planning and scheduling functionality and the time booking app that we are looking at today. Also, we have some tools for reporting of KPIs and projects and for the integration with external partners. Yeah, I'm happy to have you join today, and I will show you the agenda that we will have a look at today, guide you through, and then we will have a look at the advanced confirmation app. We will go over the current challenges that you might have using time booking tools or time booking in SAP in general. We will have a look at the objects that we allow for time booking in our app. So everything that we support, I can show you, and then we will have a look directly inside the system. So I created an example for a day in construction of a designer, and we will go over his work and how he can book his times. There we also have a look at the point 4 individual time booking methods. So I will show you different possibilities that we have in our app to book the times, so that every and each person finds a way how is it best for them to work with that app. Concluding with a roadmap that I will show you the latest functions and functions that will come in the near future. So I will start with the challenges. So there might be a reason that you joined us today, and I think these challenges are the ones that I've listed here. So what are the main problems that SAP has with time bookings? As it's a huge system with multiple objects, multiple modules also included, there is a great point that SAP does not offer a unified work list. So you have the single modules, the single tasks that you want to book on, and you have work lists for some of them. For example, in CATS, work lists are provided, but not over different or multiple objects. Therefore, you need to use various transactions or apps if you also have Fiori already. And these transactions must be used in a single way, so not across the board. With complex data entry, so the apps even are not easy to use. So if you get new employees, they need to be trained really well before they do the time tracking. Also, if a person joins another part of the company, they need to be trained how to book in that area, how to book on that object. And yeah, it's not unified. One main part for me is that we have a complex analysis function. So an individual employee cannot or not clearly report all his times that he books, because there are multiple objects that he books on. He doesn't have one point of view to check all his entries that he made, and maybe loses his focus really fast because he has all of these parts to look at. And the last point may be also referencing to the first 2 points that I've listed here, is the no mobile time booking functions. While with Fiori we have different mobile functionalities, but not on one point. So you have different apps that you have to use, and it's just not user-friendly to have 5 different apps to book on. Yeah. I will jump over to the objects for our time booking that we support. So our application runs on a CATS basis. So all elements that can be booked with a CATS also can be booked by our apps. So I've listed some areas here that we support. Each object you can activate or deactivate if you want to use it or not. So you don't have to use all of them. In the project area, I have WBS elements and network activities that are available. All of these elements also appear later in a work list where you can select the entries specially for one employee. In the controlling, we have cost centers and internal orders. For the internal orders, I will give some more information on the next slide. And also we support activities from PM or CS orders, so plant maintenance or customer service. And here also looking forward for the S4HANA service, where we will also include the booking. Going one step further, I've named this card other objects, because we also have the possibility to book on elements that are not in the SAP system. For example, Jira, I think that's known really wide. So we have the possibility to create an integration to our advanced confirmation and then book times in our app and write them back to the external system, to the Jira, without integration into the SAP directly. Our main point here is that our app provides a work list for all of the supported items, and the work list is unique for each employee. So he sees only the elements that he needs to see and that are relevant at the moment for his time booking. So I talked about the internal orders. You might already have heard of the compatibility scope of the SAP, where they announced some changes for the future of SAP systems, and also the internal orders of controlling were one part of that. So if you had a look at the public cloud functionality in the past, you might know that there are a lot of changes. And so this internal order change is one of them. So if you are in public cloud or want to go to public cloud, the internal orders of controlling are not available anymore, so you cannot use them in public cloud. Instead of internal orders, you need to be booking on WBS elements, so you need to do the change there for sure. On private cloud and on-premise systems, it's slightly different because SAP still supports these internal orders, but doesn't do any development in the future. So looking at the strategy of SAP, maybe in the future there will be no internal orders also on the private cloud system. So then the recommendation of us is to switch to the WBS elements. And good point, with our app, you can also do this change right now because our app supports the seamless transitions from internal order to WBS element because we saw it in the objects before. We support both of them. So as long as you have some internal orders that are not transitioned, you can use them and book on them with our app. If some of them are already transferred to WBS elements, you can then use the WBS elements for that. So coming back to the topic, I am at the point that I want to take a look into the system with you on the example of the daily work of a designer. I have created some kind of daily routine for him that we will go through. We'll show that on you on the PowerPoint, and then we will go into the system directly. After he arrives at work in the morning, he starts his computer, clocks in the start of work, and then can start with his real work. He starts the design process and starts the time booking for this design process. Until his lunch break, he does the designing. When he wants to leave for lunch break, he pauses his work and the design activity. After the break, he returns to work, resumes his work and the design activity. After finishing the design, he also has maybe some project management meetings or some internal trainings that he wants to conclude. Therefore, he does no activity for the time booking, at least not. After these meetings are over, he is at the end of his work day. He does some manual entries for the time booking as known today at the end of work, book your times. He transfers the entries that he created for the days to SAP and he reports his booking. So he just checks what he had booked today or for the complete month. Then he's at the end of work and he clocks out and goes home. I have a quick overview about the app before we really go into Fiori and want to show it here. The app is built in a modular way, so you can see these different cards here. The cards are modular, so you can display or hide them for your entire company or for different groups. So if you say the reporting is not relevant for a special group, you can just hide it for that group and the other ones will see it still. Each card has a detailed view. If you click on the header, we will see that in the demo, but just that you know, each card has this detailed view. Now I will give you an overview about what these cards are about, and then we can jump into the example. On the left, we have the journal for logging of daily tasks. So with a start-stop mechanism, we track the times. With the My Timesheet card, we have a calendar view for efficient time tracking. With the attendance card, we have a functionality to clock in and clock out and also report breaks. With the work list, we see all assigned tasks over all objects that we provide. With the appointments card, we have an integration to the personal Outlook calendar, and the hours report is giving a brief overview about all hours that were booked for this employee. I will open the app now in the Fiori. So you can see we have the same cards here. And I will start with my example. The employee comes in, opens his laptop and opens Fiori. That's what he sees. And he checks in. So he starts his work time at 4:15. And now the work time, you can see it here, is tracked. In parallel, he starts his work at the design process. And he also wants to do a tracking for that so that he knows exactly how long he worked on that. Therefore, he uses the work list now and tries to find out what element he needs to book on. We can see here that we have network activities. When I go down a little bit, we also see the internal orders, cost centers, or WBS elements that we can book on. Elements that have a budget behind it are displayed with this circle telling the employee the stages of this activity, so he knows how was the plan, how much he can book on it, and he sees exactly how much he did book. So he sees project management, he has only 5 hours left, so he has to be careful that he doesn't book too much. Also, he sees the due dates. So we see on this activity, it's really long overdue. So maybe this was just not closed, but he always sees the state of his dates and when he needs to finish it. For now, we will search for the R&D. So he will book on cost center R&D for his design project. I can confirm the task directly, or I can start work. With start work, I will click on that. I started tracking. I can see that it's marked in green. That means for me, that's the entry that's currently tracked in the journal. Journal is on the left side. Here you can see one line was added. It's the R&D, and I can see that it's the cost center. When clicking on the expand, I can also add a text or additional information. I will add a text here. So it's like you add some information about what you have done in your current time tracking tool. The time gets tracked. You can see that here it's also 1 minute since I started it. And so it gets tracked as long as I don't stop it. Then after some time passes, he wants to go to his lunch break and ends his activity. So he says he's doing a break, ends his activity, the tracking gets stopped, and also starts break on the attendance card so that the break also is tracked. You can see here that the work time got tracked. So I worked 2 minutes now, and now I'm doing a break. After break, he returns, he ends his break. Can see now it's 0 hours break time because I was too fast. Now we're clicking, but also the break time gets counted. I defined that he now resumes with his R&D work, with his design work. So he can just click on restart activity. If I do so, the activity gets copied into a new entry and it starts from beginning. So it starts with 0 hours and then counts until I stop it. I will stop it now because I defined now he's going to the project management meeting where he will not do anything. So I will just also do nothing. After his project management meeting, he will go to the training of CAD. So I will jump down to the appointment card with the personal Outlook calendar. With use of Microsoft 365, it's possible to create this individual reproduction of the calendar and get it daily in here. So he's doing the training. If I click on the entry of the calendar, you can see it gets blue. And that means for me, it's now active in tracking. If I go up to the journal card, you can see that the entry of the calendar got duplicated now into the journal with a free text entry. So now this one gets tracked until I say I don't want to track it anymore. So in the journal, you're also able to do free text entries. For example, if you don't have the element assigned yet or it's not created yet, you can work with free text entries until it is there. You can also start the time other than now. So if you are in a meeting, forgot to start it 15 minutes ago, you can set it back to the time you really started. He's now finished with his training and finished for the day. So he will say transfer to timesheets because everything was booked. I clicked on the button and already the design work that I did is automatically added to an element that I already booked on this week. So it's this cost center. The times get added and the tool sums up to 15 minutes or down. And now we have the 15 minutes for the R&D. The training CAD will free text entry, so I don't have an element behind it. And I can search for one element in my list that I have here, or I create a new one. I already have the training CAD here. I can just move it via drag and drop. And it gets added here, also rounded up to 15 minutes. I transfer it, click on transfer. The hours get transferred to SAP and to CATS. So as soon as I see the hours here, that were the hours that I tracked on the journal card, transferred to my timesheets. As soon as I see them here, they are also in the SAP system. The My Timesheets card, I will just jump very quick into the overview. It just looks like CATS today. We also added one thing, the text template. So if you have daily meetings, you can add a text template here, add your daily hours, and the text template gets copied into each entry. Our two entries are now arrived here, so we can also see them in SAP. And now he has missed his time for the project management to track. I can also search for the element in the work list. I found it on the top. I can confirm this one. So it was half an hour. With the meeting, I can confirm it. And it appears also on the My Timesheet card. In this card, I can also jump to other days. So for example, I can see what I've booked last Monday and can also change these entries here. Now I have only left the reporting card that I will show you quick. There we have all the hours that were booked over the app. In an overview, now I've created a report for this month. The hours are here selected, sorted by internal or external times. And if I click on the header, I also have a detailed card where, for example, the hours are sorted by project number. And in the bottom, I can see the details, so with text entries and the status, if it's approved or not. All of this graphics that you see here, they are modifiable, so you don't have to select by project. You can use other filters to see them. So now we booked our times, we did the reporting, saw everything is there, and our worker will now check out and his day, and is done with the time booking for today. I will show you the roadmap now. As end of our session. You can see that the first two of my points are already done. That was the integration of the reporting card and the integration of the Outlook calendar with Microsoft 365. The third point is more or less something for you, would be the conversion from internal orders to WBS elements. And the last topic that I have is the integration to Jira. So I talked about external systems before. Next year, we will do the integration to the Jira software and enable the time booking into Jira software. Yeah, so to conclude, what did we see today? We saw our advanced confirmation app with multiple ways to do a time tracking directly into SAP and unified ways to do so. Just as a notice for you, for all participants of the webinar, we have currently set up a discount until 30th of July for implementation and license of our advanced confirmation. Thank you for joining today. If you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Lena Marie, for presenting. I received a question from the Q&A. There was the question, how is the work list created for cost centers or internal orders?
So for the cost centers and internal orders, you are not able to do a person assignment because these objects just don't have this functionality. So we go over the cost center number assigned to the person or over the responsible person for the cost center and the internal orders to create the work list and assign the correct ones to the correct person.
Okay, thank you. I hope that's sufficiently answered. If any of the other participants have questions that they want to address through personal conversation, you can raise your hand right now if you want to speak to us directly. Otherwise, feel free to use the chat functionality. And if there are no more questions, I want to remind you of the promotion that Lena Marie mentioned until the end of July. And I want to thank you for joining today's session. As it looks like currently we don't have any other questions. So thank you to all the participants for joining, and thank you to Lena Marie for presenting. And then I will hopefully see you next time and wish you a great rest of your day.